Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the next vlog. So today I thought I'd talk about something that affected me over the weekend, quite frankly. I wasn't on the bike, but I was driving my car at night. And like most of us, we've noticed quite a lot of the new modern cars, the headlights are just so unbelievably bright that if you're driving an older car like I am, it cancels out your headlights. And I just couldn't see anything. At one point I was having to like kind of almost put my fog lights on so I could see the edge of the road, so I knew where I was because it was just cancelling out the road completely. And these modern cars, I mean, I get it. The new headlights are great if you're on your own and things like that, but when you're an oncoming vehicle facing these cars with these lights, it's just unbelievable the amount of light they emit, and you cannot see a bloody thing. Now the RAC they actually did a poll, and they surveyed like 2,000 drivers, and like 89% of them said, the headlights on the cars are just too bright, which is 3 in 10, which is 20% of a higher proportion. And all the drivers who complain about the brightness of car headlights, like apparently 91% of them say they are dazzled when driving, with three quarters, 74% saying that this happens quite regularly. Now, when I've been riding my bike at night as well, my headlights are just basically candles. They're absolutely useless, they're absolutely pointless. And when you've got an oncoming car, it cancels everything out for me. I can't see what's coming because their lights are so bright in my face and I can't see the road. And it just makes life so difficult. And I mean, obviously technology has evolved and headlights have evolved, but nothing else, you know, can keep up with it from the older cars, older bikes, things like this. So it's just getting harder and harder and harder to actually be able to drive or ride at night. Like I found it especially difficult, like if I'm riding down a country lane at night and I've got a car behind me, and I know a lot of cars are quite good, they'll sit behind you because they want to help you and, the adopted biker scheme and things like that. Well, what I actually found is with these bright headlights is that when they're sat behind me, when they're quite close, trying to keep honestly doing me a favor, hopefully trying to keep me safe. That's what they're obviously trying to do. It actually emits a massive shadow of my bike and me on the bike on the road, which then takes out another proportion of the bike. And that makes it even more difficult again for me to see because my shadow is actually blocking the road. So I find myself constantly having to, say, pull over and have to let cars pass so I can continue my journey. Now, when I was younger, the street lights and the headlights, they kind of matched, they were quite good. And I know a lot of the street lights have been updated to these LEDs now, but even again, they were so bright. You can't see anything on the road. It's, you can see colours and things, but by the time you've adjusted to that light, your eyes are stinging, it's quite bright, and you're then getting past to the next point. It's just so difficult now to kind of be on the road at night time and almost keep yourself safe because these new modern cars are making it so unsafe for you to drive because you can't see because they're blocking, blinding all the road. It's like, where do you go from here? Like, do you fight fire with fire and put bigger lamps, spot lamps, things like that on your cars or bikes and everything just to be able to see? Or do, manufacturers have to start looking at the fact that, these are too bright, these are too dazzling? Do they look at things to lower the power of the lamps when oncoming vehicles are coming with sensors or things like that, emit a slightly duller light just so the oncoming vehicles can see where they're going? And it just seems like technology, all the technology is getting more advanced, but nothing else is kind of looking at the safety aspects of all the other things to do with it. Yes, it's great that you can see. Yes, it's great that you can see all the road. But for the people in older vehicles, older motorcycles, we can't now. We physically can't see parts of the road, and it finds it very difficult to make out, the white lines in the center of the road or the curb edge just to be able to continue our drive. So we find ourselves backing off on the power so we can, almost anticipate anything that might come up, like the curb or the center white line, just because we cannot see it. Now, I don't know what everyone else feels about this because it's just seems to be getting so advanced, and I don't know how well the modern bike's headlights are keeping up with it. I mean, a friend of mine has a Triumph Tiger, and he has spotlights on his bike as well. Now, when he was at my house and he put his headlights on, I was absolutely amazed about the amount of light his headlights emitted compared to my bike. Now, my bike's using, two headlights at once, but the you know the LEDs that were on his bike were just absolutely insane. Like, where do we go from here? I mean, the government or do car companies, motorcycle, things need to look at these safety aspects, because it's all well and good having all these safety features on your car, but if all the technology on these new modern cars are causing problems for other drivers, that's got to be a safety aspect too, with causing accidents because people have not been able to see the road and hitting curbs, hitting other cars that might be directly in front of them that are braked. But because their eyes are already over blinded by an oncoming light, by the time their eyes refocus on what's in front of them, they've already gone into the back of them. So I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what car companies or manufacturers or the government's going to do, but it seems like this is becoming an increasing problem, and more people are kind of noticing this on the road, that it's becoming increasingly more dangerous to drive at night than it ever has been. Whereas before, everyone kind of had the same regulated headlights. They were always, I think it was like 55 by 60 watt headlight bulbs, 55 watt dip and 60 watt for beam or things like that. Whereas now I don't even know how much light these LEDs are kicking out, wattage wise, and things like that. So it just seems it's a lot harder to be able to match the same amount of light, so your brain and your eyes can focus on everything on the road as well as a person on the opposite side, so it's not causing any obstruction or any danger to the driver. So yeah, let me know what you think about this, guys, and what's going to be done about it, because it seems like it's an increasing problem. Anyway, guys, till the next one, take care. See you now.